look at what we have for Nigeria here. Okay? This is Nigeria. They said about 20% of Nigerians are affected by mental health disorder, translating to about 40 million Nigerians. It's a big number, have mental illness. The rate of suicide in Nigeria is about 15%. Like 15, we rank 15 globally. We rank 15 in the world. And one important stuff here. They said the mental health workforce in Nigeria is about 250 psychiatrists to treat these 200 million people. And this was before we checked on people who have jackpot, people who have traveled. Before then, maybe about 250, but that would be very reduced now. About maybe 3-4% of them have gone to Britain. So there is not enough people to treat us. About 10% of Nigerians have mental health care. A lot of them go with mental health care. So a lot of people you're talking to, you think they are normal, maybe they're not normal. So let's, I've talked about the treatment of mentally ill. Like I said, in the dark ages, mentally ill people were chained, beaten, burned, and all that. But something changed. Something changed. The change in treatment came from a different source. The Islamic people believe that all human beings are created and to be treated normally. So they instituted a good care for mentally ill. They built the first asylum for them in Damascus, Baghdad, and other places. They started there. Then other things followed. As we discover more ideas about health and the cause of illness, dementia precox. At that point, there was syphilis. And the end result of syphilis was dementia. And now they came up with it. We can treat syphilis, and they start using fever, induced malaria fever to treat the syphilis. They now know there's a cure. These people who are mentally deranged, acting strange, can be cured. So it's not spirit now. There is an illness, an underlying illness. We started from there. Then people like Bueller and the rest of them came on, started treating people. Then we came further to 1950s. We discovered lithium from just helping people take special water in Italy. They discovered that this water was helping people who was manic, melancholia, they were getting better. So there's something that can cure the spirit of madness in people. Lithium came to being. Then around 1951 or so, we discovered the short treatment, era of short treatment. They will indeed give you camphor into your system. We use insulin to induce shock. And after the shock, people had seizure. After their seizure, they got better, they were calm. After the whole thing, so there's something in them that seizure was needed, used to treat mental health. They started using different things to provoke seizure until 1938, when Ugo Selecti and Lucio developed ECT. I don't know how many of you are fourth year, third year medical student. How many of you? Anybody? Anybody witnessed any ECT treatment yet? Okay, good. So when you see ECT treatment, send electric shock to the brain. It used to be bilateral, but we have cut it down now to unilateral ECT to decrease the side effects. They give you ECT, we shock you, and then you have a convulsion, which is about 30 seconds or less. Before now, there was no anesthesia, but with anesthesia now, put you under anesthesia so you don't break your bone. Now, have to have special permission in certain states, United States, to have ECT because this is, assumed to be a cruel and unusual treatment of mental health. But that's a different case. So ECT was discovered, and people discovered it. And following that, we have lobotomies, where, through with neurosurgeons, went to the brain and scratched the brain. We didn't cut it the whole, just disturbed some neurons, and people got better. But again, it left people with a lot of, confusion, dementia, and unintended consequences of damage to other areas, motor areas, visual areas. So it went out of fashion. Then drug came into being. Chlorpromazine, thorazine was used. Then benzodiazepines, tricyclic antidepressants. In 1988, we got the SSRI. The first one was Prozac, paroxetine. And subsequently we had Paxil, Citrulline, and the rest of them. Then lithium was Austria 1947, valproic acid for bipolar and mania, Dopamax, carbamazepine. All these are just anti-seizures that we're using for mood disorders. Benzedrine, amphetamine, the first one used for ADHD. How many of you have ADHD here? Nobody raised their hand. One of you do. I know that. All right, so we'll come to modern treatments now. This is a transcranial magnetic treatment. All right. What we're doing now, rather than give the ECT electric wave, we are using electromagnetic waves now. We don't give you anesthesia. We don't shock you. We just put that machine on your head, and we send electromagnetic wave about 3 to 6 cm into the brain on the areas, the amygdala and the area, the left frontal lobe, where we know is the center for depression. It's approved for depression and OCD. Okay? So it's TMS. We approved in 2008, and in 2024, we approved it now for adolescents, treatment of anxiety, PTSD, Parkinson's disease, and the rest of them. Send a shockwave to the brain, 2 to 3 cm. We can go even deeper to 6 cm now. Left frontal cortex, that way we use. It does not require anesthesia, non-invasive. We do it, you go home. Just come, you sit on the machine for about 20 to 30 minutes daily. Monday to Friday, you go home, come on. Because ECT causes retrograde amnesia. You forget things. So this one, you don't have any memory loss from that. So we go with that then. Stereotactic ablations, we'll do this with the neurosurgeons. We map out the brain, view the lesion, we excite the lesion, and we do what we do there. Then deep brain stimulation. We can go as deep as anywhere we want and give our treatment, and symptoms are relieved. Vagus nerve stimulation for depression. Implant a machine, a small transmitter on your neck, connect it to your vagus nerve, and the machine will do its work for you for treatment. That's about that. It's used for epilepsy, stroke, rehabilitation, and treatment-resistant depression. Some of them will do. Then now, psychedelics. This is the new wave, 1960s. Larry and his group in Harvard were working with different psychedelics. LSD, psilocybin, mescaline, DMT, MDMA. These are just medications now that we're using now. They're having a new wave of research out there. They are microdosing them. Take LSD or psilocybin, small doses. It makes you feel good. The depression is good. And if you go down, ketamine. How many of you use ketamine for surgery here? If you work in the rural area, you use ketamine. So now we're using ketamine, and it's the best medicine now for suicide, somebody who's depressed and suicidal. When you give them ketamine, IV, wait for a few minutes, 10, 20 minutes, they go home. They tell you they feel good. The only problem with it now is it doesn't last so much. So we have a new version of it too. An isomer, esketamine, that we can squirt in your nose now, and you will do good. So one of the good medicine we're using now to remove people from deep depression while we treat them. So there are new crazy treatment coming up now. Please stand here. All right, so marijuana. This is another thing going on out there. We're using this, the veterans from Vietnam War and the rest of them who have depression in the United States. They use this cause relaxation. It has two main ingredients. The ingredients in marijuana is a lot of different chemicals, but these two, the THC and the CBD, are the two main products that are very useful. The THC gets you high, the CBD mellows you. So the mellow one, that's what we use to treat anxiety, Even people smoking in the evening, and they have engineered the marijuana so much that they can isolate these two products, and you get it in different shops everywhere. They started from California and a lot of states in the United States now. They sell them, people smoke them, they make them feel good. And we use them too for intractable seizures. All right? Seizures, and what else? Pain. They are using marijuana now. Let's see. And they sell them as tablets too in the United States in two forms. Epidiolex, it's a oral solution used for treatment of rare form of Lennox, that's eye problems, Dravet syndrome. Then we have the Marinol that we use for people with AIDS, people who are not eating, who are losing a lot of weight, and the Casemate. Those are the two ones or three there that we are using in the United States now for different things. I don't know if you know this guy, but it's okay if you don't know him. It's fair enough. So this is me here doing the TMS treatment, transcranial, treatment in there for that gentleman, and his story is very important. He gave me his permission, by the way, so I'm not doing anything illegal for you. I will mention his name. OCD and severe depression, and he had a course of this treatment. It takes about 3,000 shots, which is not a shot. 3,000 treatment. It comes Monday to Friday, rest on the weekend, just for 30 days. So that lasted for about 30 days and got better and was able, his OCD improved, his life got better, able to do his job. So there are a lot of new things coming out there, and the summary of it all is that mental illness is not what you should be afraid of. It's not what you should be afraid of. There are new treatments and advancements in science that have made things possible. So our neurosciences now have done very well. So those of you who are into research, neurosciences, radiology, and all that, you can do great things in sciences now. And we are looking deeper into the brain. A lot of work are coming out. So I'll leave you with these few ideas to get you thinking. Marijuana, ketamine, psychedelics are being used now. So what next? The what next, I don't know. But I know as you go into your medical practice or research, you are going to come up with what next. Maybe by then I'm old and retired, but again, this is where we are. And thank you very much.
All right, that was excellent by Dr. Adu. Have you all got the e-brochure on your front? Wave if you haven't. So he's on page 58. So we just have enough time to take one or two questions from medical students. If nobody volunteers a question, I'll choose somebody to ask a question. I have a short question. I attended an unscientific meeting, and the speaker said, last August, everybody got your breakfast. I need to go and shine. So my question to you is, you mentioned about cannabis being prescribed in a medicated fashion. Is there any side effect of using cannabis and alcohol? Because many people, they may not admit to it, but they do try to.
Very important question. There are studies out there that young people who use marijuana, about 12%, that's people 18 and below who are smoking this thing, about 12% of them are going to come out with psychosis. So there's been an upsurge of anxiety, depression, and psychosis in young people using marijuana. I work in the university center, and we have seen a lot of first break of schizophrenia, people who are using heavy doses of marijuana. So yes, there's a lot of side effects to it. And those adults who use this treatment, they don't smoke it daily. Marijuana has one thing important here that for you medical students, motivation. If you have any friend who smoke marijuana, they're not motivated to do anything. They chill, they have sex, and they just have fun. They don't focus on important things. So the word is motivation. They are not motivated. So you go for your exam, marijuana because of blah, 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 motivation. Check on that when you pass it down. So marijuana is very important because psychosis is not something that should be used freely. It should be used with caution. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll take a quick question from medical students. No hand up, I'll just sorry. Don't be shy. Is anybody coming forward? Okay, so we'll go to the next talk. The next talk is on public health. After COVID, December 2019 started to gain momentum. The importance of public health was pretty obvious because all the governments had to work with each other to control traffic, air traffic, cities were shut down, and public health measures were put in place. Since then, we've had quite a few outbreaks come up. Recently, we've had monkeypox. When I came into Dr. Mohammed, I was told to fill out a monkeypox questionnaire within 24 hours of arrival. I don't know actually. They gave me the link. Well, it is one of those things that has become more and more important. If one man gets a headache, take paracetamol, but if the whole community gets a headache, that's a different matter, you know. And we're grateful to have one of us who will present on public health issues. So I'll need to change the slides. So Dr. Ehiba Aibe works in primary care, and he's an expert in this field, having worked there for many years. So it won't be a lengthy introduction. Let's put our hands together as he comes to take the mic.
Good morning, my classmates and friends. It's a pleasure being with you this morning. I'm a medical student. I'm very happy to be with you to discuss this topic. In fact, when the opportunity came for me to discuss something, many things came to come to my mind. But the reason why I settled for this is because this our group we have really progressed. And I know your enthusiasm to be involved in the health of your country. And many of us are aspiring to be ministers of health. Some people come over from developed countries to take up assignment in the federal ministries. You will discover that when you come around, the bulk of the issues that will be handled are primary health care issues. And when you come around, it's easy to stop in the city, stop at Abuja, and then you are given a picture of what goes on normally they will think, oh, things are okay. So this is why I decided to talk about the typical scenario of primary health care implementation in the local government area, especially a very fragile one, and that is the Central Local Government area. This is the outline I'll be using for this presentation. What the introduction, health is a state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being, not the mere absence of diseases and infirmities. This you already know. And we know that it's a fundamental human right and an important resource of all individuals, families, and communities, in order for them to enjoy life and also to be able to engage in productive, including economic activities. The family, individuals, communities, and governments are having different responsibilities to provide health for themselves and for their citizens. In Nigeria, local government council or government is responsible for the provision of primary health care. But very recently, most states have developed their agencies, that is the State Agency for Primary Health Care, in order to improve coordination and management of primary health care. In Edo State, that is going on, came on board in 2007, became operational in 2010, and then the local government moved into the agency in 2018. But there's still a lot of impact between the local government and primary health care management. Even after they have moved to the states to become local health authority, there is still an interaction between them, a lot of interaction, because the local government management committee and the local government, the chairman of that committee, the chairman of the local government area. Now, all over the world, before 1978, it was discovered that there were a lot of iniquities and inequalities in the health status of developed and developing countries, and even in terms of resources, commitments, processes, and all that, there were a lot of discrepancies. And so the World Health Organization, UNICEF, Emergency Fund, and other developed countries, including China, based on the experience of China, decided to say the world should go in primary healthcare globally. And this can be defined as essential or basic healthcare based on scientific, practical, and socially acceptable methods and technology, made universally accessible to all individuals, families, and communities through their full participation and at a cost that the community and country can afford to maintain at every stage of their development in the spirit of self-reliance and self-determination. Primary health care is a strategy that was aimed at providing health for all by the year 2000. When we were in school, that was the slogan. But eventually it was revalidated in 2008-2010 to say it is now health for all 2000 and beyond. And we find that primary health care, unless primary health care is effectively and efficiently implemented, it will be very difficult to realize the MDG and the sustainable developmental goals. So it is also fundamental for the achievement of the universal health care conference. So these are the principles of primary health care. I will not want to belabor myself so much with them. Now, according to the World Health Design in 1978, these were the traditional components of primary health care. You can see there health education or health problems, environmental sanitation, provision of adequate and safe water supply, adequate food supply, proper nutrition, maternal and child health, and family planning services, immunization against common infectious childhood diseases, control of locally endemic and epidemic diseases, treatment of minor illness and injuries, and the provision of essential drugs. In order to further decentralize and cost-effective and efficient implementation of primary health care, Nigeria adopted the World Health System, and every political body became an implementing unit of primary health care. Local governments were decentralized, I mentioned that, and the meaning of that is that a ward is expected to have a primary health care center, and then you have clinics, 5 airports in each ward, and it is a kind of hub and spoke arrangement. The health centers and the clinics, the clinics and the airports, they are closest to the people, they render services as close as possible to the people, and then the PHC center, the World Health Center, becomes the referral center for that ward. Each ward, any settlement that is having a population 500 and above should have the headquarters, while the clinic serves a population 2,000 to 5,000, and each of them is supposed to, a clinic and a health center is supposed to render 24-hour service. The minimum standard for primary health care is a document, and then we also have another document on the World Health System that creates a vision of what primary health care services should be at the world level. And then it also defines what the equipment, the human resources that are needed and all that. The scope of services are defined and costed according to this document. So they are advocacy document, and anybody that is going to practice primary health care in Nigeria should be familiar with those documents so that they will be working in harmony with government policies and regulations. These are the components of the World Minimum Health Care Package. Control of communicable diseases, malaria, TB, STI, childhood survival, integrated management of childhood illness and immunization, nutrition, maternal and newborn care, family planning, prevention of non-communicable diseases, hypertension, diabetes, sickle cell disease, health education, and these are the supportive services. Now, this template is provided for human resources, minimum standard of human resources required. For example, even the dimension of the health facility, the color of the health facility, the equipment that should be there, the human resources should be there, that should be there. For a PHC center, you can see that a doctor is necessary but it's optional. There should be at least one CHO, one front-nurse midwife, one second midwife, 2, 3, J26, lab tech 1, pharmacy technician 1. But if it's a clinic, you should have a minimum of 2 nurses midwife, 2 Jews, 4 J2s. So when we'll be going into our findings, we'll be trying to compare what we find on ground and what this standard is telling us to do. So the method we use for this study is we use the desk review, record review of primary and secondary data, give informal interview of medical officers and then do surveillance education officers, did a walkthrough survey several times, participatory learning by engaging in various programs and process, documenting what is happening. Now, what will you find? What will you find in this local government area? We find that it is one of the 18 local government areas created in 1996 in Edo State. It's part of Edo North Senatorial District with 660 square kilometer land mass. These are the coordinates. The headquarters is Fuga, and it's a semi-urban town while almost all the other communities are rural communities. And you know the implication of that for them. These are the boundaries of the local government. And this is a Google map of the local government area. This is the distribution of population projected is what we have, 152,770. Their distribution according to the world. We have a political structure. It is important to be familiar with the political structure of the world and the local government because these are the gatekeepers. Those of you who are coming to work with them must recognize that these people are there, and if you don't work with them, they close the gate, you cannot penetrate the community. In this local government area, the dominant tribe, these are the people. We have 3 clans, and then these are the Eberi, Abiamu, and Uneme clans. Then secular, we have the chairman, his exco, and councillors. We have 4 major markets. These are the occupations. It is of note, it is of significance to know that most of the work that have occupations there, they are subsistence farming, fishing, petty trader, and so motorcyclists. And so the implication of this is that we are expecting them to be poor. Other determinants, religion, Christianity, Islam, poverty is there, crimes, alcohol, drug abuse, they are expected. Geography, we have many streams, breeding of mosquito, malaria, we have schistosomia, the river blindness. It is of note that this is a coastal, a very highly coastal local government area. About 3 of the local government, 3.5 of the wards in the local government, they are coastal areas and they are usually submerged with flooding cities. You will see the picture of this as we progress. And because of this, there are a lot of problems, difficulty in how to reach communities and difficult to access communities. There are very many. This is, as of today, look at a community there. This is the Osumegwu community. It's already severely flooded. You can see. So this is, you can tell the impact. The traditional ruler of this community is my personal friend, so we send him this picture for this exercise. So people are still there, so you can know the impact of this in their end. Other determinants, poor solid and liquid waste management, poor housing, flooding in the provision to career and other, and sources of water, you don't expect something to do. Yeah, as at mine, anchor, shrimp, sanitary waste, and what we get was going from the city. So, part of the problem there, teenage pregnancy, school dropout, you can already see it. I mean, we got this approval, one of our diseases that hard to reach community. Now, common diseases, a mix of communicable and non-communicable diseases. There are still malaria, diarrhea as we go, and then adult, ROT, SCI, abortion, female, adult female, Lassa fever is common, adult and female they are the same, almost the same, except for the morbidity of pregnancy. Now, is the local government organized? Yeah, this is the organizational structure of the local government. But we couldn't add the slide. Now we have to link it to the director, that is the executive secretary. The MOH is now directly responsible to the executive secretary of the agency. And then, okay. So now, governance structure. We have the only governance structure we have is World Development Committee. All the other ones, they are very, very negligible. Especially clinical governance. In all the facilities, no policies, no guidelines, no authorities. So we can be sure that quality of services will be compromised. Funding and logistics. There are problems with the funding, and then people don't have money for supervision. These are the programs that are available in the local government, but they are rudimentary as we speak. Now, what about health facility distribution? Only one local government, only one ward meets the standard. All the other wards, they are under, we don't have enough manpower for them. Now, what about compliance of this manpower? The manpower distribution is also very poor. So you can see it in the bracket as the expected, but these are the ones that we are having. Now, compliance with skilled manpower advisor, performance, no data except for immunization, which is 63% for most of the services. So these are the challenges: misconception, general ignorance, poverty, youth unemployment, poor political will, poor funding, manpower deficiency, and annual flooding will make the problem worse. You can see this is a picture of a facility. You can see how ill-equipped this facility is. This is a hard-to-reach community. You can see the difficulty one goes through to access this facility for supervision. Where there are no funds for supervision, you can see what is actually going on. This is an access road to the health facility. It's deplorable, isn't it? Alright, this is a health facility. Poor infrastructure. So, this is, during the flooding, see the health facility is almost submerged. So for 4 months in a year, this health facility will not be accessible. So the people will be taking care of themselves wherever they can do. Now, solution. The BAC under one roof should be properly managed. It was supposed to bring a solution. But the problem is that many of them are not feeling the impact. So accreditation, if we can really standardize health facility and do accreditation, increase funding, sufficient manpower planning and all that, I think we can improve. There is a program that I want to mention, that is the chief's agent, to be implemented, because when the chiefs are down, these are the voluntary health workers that are retained in the community, that they can still be there when nobody is there, so that they can attend to the health needs of the people, but it's not properly implemented in all of them. So these are the references. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. That was an excellent presentation about primary care and the challenges. If it is okay with the presenters, I think it might be good to make the slides available to the students, because this particular talk has some information where you need to go back and read. And public health is very important for your careers. Because with the pandemics that happen, you need to have that kind of mind that can understand health as a global topic rather than seeing 2 people with malaria. You must be always thinking global. So thank you very much. Has anybody got any questions?
Thank you, my good friend. I wait for this lucid presentation. Dr. Nnamdi Iliabafis, formerly Director of Disease Control and Immunization, and Anambra State Primary Care Implementing Agency. So I appreciate your presentation. I want to talk about 1 or 2 things. Primary care under one roof, they have solved the problem. But the Ministry of Health in most states do not allow it to work because of struggle for money. They won't allow these things to work. They want to have malaria, they want to have this, the challenge, the interfere. And most states, the executive secretary of the agency do not have access to ESCO meetings. You write your proposal, we're having malaria measles campaign now, you have the proposal, the commissioner will put it under his something. And they're expecting you to explain how you're going to, what is percentage and what is going to come. And the second one is the chief's agent you're talking about. Is it our thinking? Is that most people want to have their own cake, and it's a national cake. We employ them, they won't do anything. I was watching some LGAs. You find out most of them don't even have any record. Let me see what you are doing. Nothing is going. Then we, the core managers, we are actually empowered to manage whatever we are given. If we can invest 70% of what's released to us, there will be a change. But we can't. So, government is helping us in a way. 10 million is approved for you. It's not released. You are asked to source money to do it. Probably you will source 1 million or 2 million. And by the time the money is released for you, the program has gone. And you have made it one way or the other, a mockery. It's just a mockery of what's supposed to be. It's really, but I know time is not my sign. But there are a lot of things. I appreciate you because I've been in that since 2015. I've been in the primary care system, and I know. And manpower is another thing. In Anambra, I don't know for the states, apart from Lagos, who actually who's practicing it in such a way that their PhD is almost equivalent to the University in our own area, the University in Anambra. PhD in let me not, I don't know, I'm very answer. Thank you, God.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together again for Dr. Eva, who's talking quite well. And like I said, okay, one more question. 1 minute.
Dr. Ejeki, an ophthalmologist. Thank you, Dr. Ejeki, for this presentation. I think the main problem here is funding. And I just want to know, if that's your area, do you have any NGOs can be substitute for funding? Is it possible? Are there some companies, like oil companies, you can go to who can help? Because I know they worry. When I was in a hospital, managing the hospital, apart from what the government gives us, we go to all these SPDC, Chevron, and they help to alleviate some of the issues that we have in the hospitals. But do you have anybody around that area who can help, apart from the government?
Thank you very much. Of course, we have some NGOs that are working. Some of them again come around. They think that there's money in the local government. They want to get the opportunity to take money out of the local government. But of course, we do acknowledge that they are contributing. But let me just say this, that we should all have the right impression that primary health care is not a cheap strategy. It calls for investment, and people are not seriously investing. Even the chicks that my friend talked about, if we follow the program, it's a properly programmed strategy. If we follow everything, you will not wait for somebody not to perform the job before you monitor, you supervise, and you meet the board lack of productivity. But because we do not even select the right people according to the programming, and then we do not monitor and supervise at the right time by the right people, we are going to get the undesired outcomes.
Okay. Let's put our hands together, everyone. Are we in Benin or where are we? Are we in Lagos? Where are we? Great Unibe! Great Unibe! Intelligent Unibe! Powerful Unibe! All the everything Unibe! Okay, we know where we are. So money has been mentioned, and you know once you enter finance, and all of you are the medical directors of the future. When I'm 80, when I'm 90, by God's grace, it is you people who will be coming to me. So, more than treat us well, look at our face, you remember us. Because you are the future. Treat us well. So, on that subject of money, we'll be going to the next speaker who is in private medicine, private practice. And private practice has its challenges. I know of a case where somebody had a surgery privately and was not having any good post-operative recovery period. He was always on his bed and they were always looking at. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. One day he jumped out of the window and ran away. He was actually getting better, but he was pretending. So when all his wounds are healed, he went through the window, ran away, and he didn't pay the bill. So that is one of the challenges of private practice. It's called private
because the patient pays a bill. Steve Ogeriaki is in private practice, and he will let us know how he's able to raise funds for the hospital and collect the bill from the patients.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. I want to stand on the existing protocol, and I hope that the protocol does not break. But just in case you are wondering what protocol, I want to welcome you all to this gathering, especially the graduate students. Some 40 years ago, we were like this. No, we don't used to wear work coat as smartly as these ones are doing. My name is Dr. Ogeriaki. I run Royal Hospital Akwanga. It's a private practice venture. And I have spoken about the challenges of running private medical practice. And one of the challenges which Dr. Wilson just mentioned is finance. I started my clinic with just 6,000 naira, and that was 1993. And before I could get that 6,000, I had worked for somebody for 3 years until I was able to venture out with a lot of risk, and I just struggled and struggled. Yes. So the bane of medical practice privately is
in my back pocket. This one.
That one. Good.
Right.
It's with great pleasure that I am here, and I like to be in company of my fellow classmates who started this journey some 37 years ago. I'm happy that many of us are still strong, and I pray that God will continue to keep us in Jesus' name. We have been during this year contributing our quota to the development, the growth of medical practice in our service to humanity. Private practice may just be defined as an outfit that is solely or in partnership with private individuals established, funded, managed, evaluated, monitored, and nurtured by the proprietor or a medical practitioner. In my own case, I am the sole medical practitioner, the sole proprietor, the sole founder, and of course, the sole enjoyer of the profits. Hallelujah. Yeah, the sole sufferer too. But once in a while, we do enjoy part of the profits with our social, as part of our social corporate social responsibilities. I have this, sometimes, like Wilson said, sometimes I write up my bills or do my surgery free of charge. Because if you don't do so, Muslims will go attack you. Alright, so the greatest pain in this circumstance, therefore, in my experience, is the issue of funding and proper management. It is a complex mix of challenges and constraints. So I'm going to be talking about how do we get funding? What are the sources of funding for private medical practice? What are its challenges? And what are the constraints? And how do we improve? In case I know that many of you here, please, my young medical students, let me just see with a show of hands, how many of you would like to do private practice? Be sincere to yourself. Alright. How many of you want to Japan? So you can even see that this issue of getting funds for practice, actually for private practice, I'm actually talking to the oldies because there is none of you here. My son told me, Daddy, do you want me to remain this play with you? I beg you. So he jumped back to America. So the main problem is funds. So how do we get funds for private practice? There are religions of them, but they are all theoretical because to really get money is a big problem. You have heard just like in rural practice or local government, PACs, The main problem was their funding. The guy was always showing the bad road to the place is due to lack of funds. The lack of supervision is due to lack of funds. The infrastructural decay is due to lack of funds. So how do we really get funding for private practice? This may come from personal savings, like in my own case. I spent 3 years working as a tutelage for somebody with not even a doctor. He just opened his clinic or needed a doctor to run the place. And I did the place for him, and he was paying me how much that time? It was 33,000 naira. What am I saying? 3,300 naira. 3,300. Because I'm used to bigger box now. I don't call 3. And I see 3,300 as chicken feed. Don't mind me. All right. So my personal savings with that 6,000 was the one I used. Of course, you can also get money from your parents. Some of us here may have parents who are well-to-do, have cousins and brothers who are in America or UK. They send you £1, they become 2,000, 26,000 naira. So you can get funds from there. The sole proprietor may use personal savings or family bequeath to establish his outfit. You can also get loans from financial institutions such as commercial banks, private investors, small business administration loans, and lines of credit for banks. I tried to speak to a friend of mine who was a bank manager and I was looking for funds to. It was on tomorrow, on next tomorrow, the paperwork and so on. Then at the end of it, I just shut them out and then started small, with just 4 beds like that. You can, yes. You can also, no, yes. You can have credit facilities which can be provided by companies and organizations who may be interested in areas of financing, such as equipment leasing, equipment purchase, and sometimes infrastructure. I must warn you, any organization that says it wants to finance your business, I want to tell you that it's only interested in profit. Nobody thinks it's money in those places where it's not going to make profit. So if you think somebody is actually giving you a loan, the high interest rate will run you out of business. But I just mentioned it so that you say, that doctor tell us if we can go to the bank. You may try it. All right. So religious organizations can decide to give you loan or can decide to help you in your medical practice, but again, these are supposed to be non-profit organizations that they want to help some underprivileged or communities that are far out of reach from the government. You could have that. And in my place, not in my facility, in my environment, there is this, I think it's Canadian or Australian aid that used to bring money for people to establish autonomy clinics, leprosy settlements, and so on. So there are cases like that that of course depends on who you know. If you don't have contact, if you don't have links with this foreign aid, nobody passes or nears or smell you in the local corners. So, despite this theoretical plethora of sources of funds for private medical practice, there are uphill challenges in accessing these funds. This may include high startup costs. To establish a small clinic, be it small as it may, requires a lot of tasks and resources. How many people are going to give you 1, 2, 3 million for you to start a private clinic? So yes, because of the high startup costs, there are challenges in accessing funds. Medical practice can be very capital intensive because of the equipment and the staff and the utilities. Earlier on, I mentioned one of the challenges that you could have in trying to establish a clinic in a rural area. There are no infrastructure. And the only few people that maybe have a reasonable environment that you say you want to practice can give you a high cost that you will not be able to pay. So I remember in my first clinic where I started, the only presentable house that I could stay and run the clinic was just a 3-bedroom flat. Built to the local place. The man might be the only rich person who did that. But, so how do I stay in that place and also have my clinic there? That was a big challenge. All right? Because of the high startup costs, loans are difficult to get. The interest rate from commercial bank, I just mentioned to you that people are out for profit. The high interest rates is a big hurdle to cross, and it could be very stifling for the young practitioner. Here you are, you don't have any means, nobody is there to help you. You have not earned any living or salaries, and then you want to start a private clinic. This is difficult. Number two, as a young medical practitioner, you don't have collateral. How many houses you don't build when you go submit the paper for the banks? So you don't have it. That's a big challenge. Bureaucracy, a lot of paperwork, you understand? And of course, the Bunja syndrome. You can't get a loan from a bank manager without, and you understand what I mean? So these are challenges that are there. A lot of paperwork, a lot of bureaucracy, and so on and so forth. The constraints, like in every business, in medical practice, is just like a business, it has its risks, it has its constraints. Overcoming these hurdles can be very frustrating. One of them is competition. In the place where I practice, there are a lot of quacks. This community health, you see Dr. Abu mentioned about, now then they run clinic for that person. So and they charge less because they do less of the work. And then of course, with the lack of funds and poverty in the environment, these are the first points of call. It's only when they finish quelling it, they bring the patient to you. You have no choice, you have to try. Because you can imagine if you are going to do appendectomy. By the time the thing goes wrong, you are trying to go and open and see. You can imagine the milieu that are going to be existing. God save you if you are able to help the patient. If the patient dies, they don't mention that man who's quelling first. Now Royal Hospital and that patient. And of course, when they die, who are you to ask for your needs? Who are you? Because immediately the guy is begging, they are making a vehicle to take, so nobody even cares. Doctor, what did you do? Is there anything? Everybody will appear very solemn and moody. So if you talk at that time, are you sorry? So there's a competition. The other colleague too may be looking for a way, to make sure the clientele in his place is better. So a lot of competition, both for the resources, both for the patient, both for infrastructure, and also for the staff. So these are constraints. Secondly, government regulations are usually cumbersome. In my state where I practice, we are more or less seen as, instead of being partners in progress, but the government, those of you who have worked for government, they will come and tell you they are doing supervision of things that the government cannot afford in their small rural clinics. Employ technology, do your staff training, and also personal training. And they manage, pay your taxes to avoid stress from the government. Thank you very much. Amen. Thank you very much, Dr. Steve Oberti. He is an excellent communicator. We used to call him Steve Tech in school because he was a one-man CNN. He was good at reporting, investigating, analyzing, broadcasting, and all. So, has anyone got any questions? Name one question, please.
Thank you very much for the presentation. It was very interesting. My name is Omonigo Yomo, and I'm in final year class. So I must say that since all our 8 years in medical school, this is probably the first time somebody knows how to stand private practice, and we appreciate it. So the question I have is, luckily we are able to ask you directly, and all the points you gave, you explained them very well. But from your own practice, is there anything you think you could have done differently that you want us to know that we should do? Is there anything you think you would have done better or you would have done more or less throughout your practice that we should take note of? Thank you, sir.
Anything anything to do differently. I must confess, I have no regrets being in private practice. Because as at the last count, I think about antenatal cards 95,000, of patients who are believed who come from antenatal practice. So that's a good big mark for me. So it's nothing to regret. I don't think there's any special thing that I need to tell you. Just that for first. So medical practice, private medical practice, it's nice if you are fortunate. But watch what you do. Be good at what you do. Maintain good referral system. Any patient you know you cannot manage, don't keep such patient and then refer to them in their billing. So for me, no regrets. And I don't think any other thing. But the only disadvantage I may see is inability to further your education. You probably will be started at MBBS level. And then you see your Professor John, where is he? I want to use an example of their here. So you will see the guy will be a professor. He will just be an MBBS. But not that you see the hair is just like them, they know who I think. But you don't get the paper or the professor.
I didn't add to this. It's not about degrees and anything. You pick the path where you want to go. I tell people this. You know, after graduation, am I going for prestige or am I going for resources? Professor may be professor with prestige, but private practice can make you money. But you have to know what you're doing and stay with it. And when you're in private practice, improve yourself. You are training. You still improve yourself in your skills, because in the end, you are going to pay your bills. You can pay the rest. There are hungry professors. So in the end, you have to pay your bills. You know where you're going to. Actually, let me tell you one more thing, is that in the United States, there are two pathways in academia. There's clinical, there's research. Most people in research come from money. They just go to their research cohort. Their parents have left good wealth for them, and they're not worried. In the clinic, you're working for your money. So you make your money, but sometimes you have family wealth already. You don't want to waste time. You go to research, 4 days a week. You go home, sit in your life. So either you go for prestige or go for money. Know the home you come from and choose what is good for you. Don't be driven by any other thing. I can tell you this. So thank you.
We'll do 1 minute each.
On the institutions, I'm a guy who call Lucy. I think the person I was going to ask, or maybe a comment I was going to make, is in terms of funding. Maybe our group may be of help to the students here moving forward, because accessing funds is always a problem. And the way you were saying it, very eloquently put. Even those in financial startups do have the same problem with financial institutions. And those institutions are probably more likely to make money from financial and technological startups, the fintechs, than from a clinic just starting up. But we may be in a position to say, after all these years, we know this person in finance, or we know this person here or there, and make a phone call or something, and then push people forwards.
He who has ears, let him hear. As you read your medical books, watch YouTube videos about startups. So, 1 minute.
Okay, thank you, sir. My name is Fubaremi Edward. I'm a final year medical student. So I want to first of all appreciate the class for this session and also for the nice presentation. My question is, sir, how are you able to manage overbearing staffs? Because overbearing staffs, yes, because you mentioned that some staffs who, while you're trying to move the organization forward, they are trying to move the organization backwards with their attitude and all that. So how do you manage that?
We'll check the other question so that you just hammer the three. So
I'm about it. You think I will not forget by the time they finish? Let me answer this one. We cannot trust them to remember.
Private practice, that's one good thing about it. Now you be the organ. If you have an early staff, you don't want to, okay, or well, I don't like this. He say you be here. Show him the here. You can go and speak to the emir in my place. They have chiefs and the rest. They have nothing to tell you because remember the business is yours. You pay the bills. So you don't, nobody will tell you about bearing, it's not government. I did a stuff like that. I had an example like that. The guy was always stealing my money. Any time that I'm not around, you will give card, do treatment, and destroy the cards. And how did I get to know? One day I was out, and some patients came. Of course, he's not a doctor. The management was not very complete. The patient didn't get well. They came back and said, "We were here the time you traveled." I said, "No, but give me your card." They brought the hand card. We can't locate the other file. And we searched and searched. And it was this person that treated me. Okay, bring the file now. We know see. What does that mean? He has taken the money. So I said, all right, I want. It's not say I asked you to go. You want I made the chief? I said, okay, this guy is intolerant. I don't want him in my place. And off he goes. And of course, you must lead by example. Your staff will see how energetic you are. They see how you do your stuff, how you are kind to patients. They have no choice. They will just follow suit. Alright. So that's how, in my own case, that's how and I keep proper records. Even if you come to my clinic, you're not giving any treatment, your record must be there. Nowadays, some colleagues are going into digital and whatever, they put their billing, electronic, they put their billing systems and so on. I haven't done that. If you ask me why, because some of these hospitals will digitalize. Now, man, they program that thing. Just an INEC. You know what I mean.
thank you very much. One last comment. 1 minute to comment from.
1 minute.
Thank you very much.
Now, first I'll do that comment. Now, thank you. Make I sit down.
I'm also into private practice, so I have also experiences. It's good to share. That many people will learn on the job. Of course, no matter how hard you try, you still have to learn something on the job. But we have progressed to this level that you want to be able to be scientific in anything. Before you can set up a problem, at least this time you should develop yourself to such an extent you can write the proposal. Like you have had you say, oh, you would like to support, but nobody would like to commit the resources unless they see that you have a feasible proposal. So you want to listen to that. Then two, you also want to ensure that you have basic skills. They don't be involved. When you are in a hurry to move in, you will not be trouble with that. So there are some basic skills that a private practitioner will have, especially some basic surgical skills. So sit down and apply them first and build a client base. Are you getting it now? If you don't have money to start, of course you can just go now and open up a big place, marketing and all that, it will be booming. But if you are going to start in an organic way like saying when you think about it, also try to do the return base. People who believe in you, who are ready to talk to you, who are asking you for your services, so that when you open your phone, they are the one that will follow you for your new value. you somebody run a client practice.
Okay, thank you very much. We are actually on time. So what we're going to do, I need 2 volunteers to bring the table at the back to the front here, preferably male. Our colleague, Professor John Ohaji Obodo, is not here, but he's unavoidably absent, but his presentation is important, so I'll just go through the slides with some examples. They won't be my personal examples. The journey to self-actualization. How far? So, we're all on a journey, and from the talks that have been given, you could see there was always a beginning and an end, and the end was like a destination, and when you get to the destination, you repackage for the next journey. So the medical schools, you started on a day, you graduate on a day. When you graduate, what next? House jobs. You finish your house jobs, what next? So there is, in life, you are basically on a journey, and self-actualization is what we're going to talk about. So this is the outline of the introduction. So life is in phases. Every human being, the expectation of every human being is to live a fulfilled life. A fulfilled life is usually defined by yourself. So you choose what that fulfillment is, but your education, your family, background, societal expectations would determine what will make you fulfilled. So for instance, somebody might say, if I fit just get one Range Rover, I'll be fulfilled. Then he gets a Range Rover and he repackages and says, no, I need a house. So, but other people might want peace of mind, other people might want giving to society. We have come here to celebrate with you. We are not the bills, you know. So, we're not coming, but I'm very fulfilled being here. Well, my sister Nika, her flight was cancelled yesterday. She had to get another flight this morning. That's why she missed the beginning. She's only just coming. So more than clap for her. So people make, and she came from Canada first to Lagos, and then start going through the Air Peace Strong cancellation flight. So, but these things will fulfill, given your time, your resources, can make you fulfilled. What is a journey? How do you get to the point where you can live a fulfilled life? So all of you need to be sure in your mind what will make you fulfilled. Now, daily we are faced with challenges and opportunities. And sometimes the opportunity in itself is a challenge. The challenge is an opportunity, is interwoven. So having a positive outlook to solve problems will help you in life. Law of survival of the fittest, that's a question. Does the guy who survived, is he really the fittest? It might not be. It might be providence, it might be good luck. So what is self-actualization? It is a psychological concept that refers to the realization of fulfillment of one's potential, talents, and abilities. So if you, for instance, know you can learn how to code, you go on a course, and then you learn how to code. That's an achievement. Then you might now say, my new skill, let me offer it to my alumni group, my church, and then you get fulfilled. You're developing yourself. So the e-brochure that we distributed was done by one of us, Dr. Theophilos Asumu. He's an orthopedic surgeon, but he dabbles into IT. So he's not here, but the work he has done is in your phone. So he will get fulfillment from that, which is not financial remuneration, but it's something where put himself to task and work for 2 straight months and come out with a product that benefits everybody. So if you have a skill and you keep it to yourself and start hoping that good fortune will come, and you don't develop the skill, develop the talent, and use it in a group, you might not get that fulfillment that you desire. And the problem many people have, especially the talented people, is that because they've been coming first from the womb, even in maternity wards, they were crying the best. Primary school first, secondary school, university, diploma, they come top. You start having this expectation that everybody will clap for you. You walk into a bank, everybody claps and gives you a job, give you this. Only your friends will clap for you. Other people too are expecting the same. So the key thing, what you have must be developed and be used so that in the community, when they are walking past, they will say, you don't know that guy waiting. What follows next determines of how much value you have in the community. You know, if you do nothing to the community, maybe your mom always gives gifts at Christmas. That boy, my mama and I listen last Christmas. You know, there must be something people can tie to you that it involves service to the community. And those are the things that will give you that fulfillment. So, self-actualization is associated with the following: personal growth and development, self-awareness. If you know something sing, don't say you won't bless us with song. You know you're not blessing us. You know, you must know what you have that is the talent. They will call functions. You know. So, autonomy, purpose, discovery, and pursuing meaningful goals and passion, self-acceptance, expressing oneself, self-transcendence, going beyond limits and exploring new possibilities. This is big grammar. Let me just make it plain. I wanted to go to Nigeria's highest point, which is in Chapel Wadi in Taraba State. So I spoke to my friend. I know when you all do this kind of job, you don't talk to all friends, you pick and choose. Because if I tell my relatives, they say, they start crying. They'll carry you go. So we planned it and we went to Taraba State, then went up Mabila Plateau, quite a beautiful place. Then go to the highest point in Nigeria, you know, which is Chapel Wadi. That I was fulfilled. But it's not like you get that and give you 200 million check. You know, it's something you do for yourself, for fulfillment. And I shared the videos to my friends, they're all inspired. Some people say this boy is crazy, you know. But everybody with how they relate to the race. And even when, this was about 2 years ago, and recently when there's been some insurrection and unrest, when I read the news and I see what's going on, even me self, I say this self are crazy. Why did I go to that kind of place, you know? So, well, when you, sometimes you could have an idea and you walk towards it, and then you do it and you learn. There's always learning involved. So, you do self-appraisal. This involves a scorecard. You sort of mark yourself, don't deceive yourself, and it may involve extended members of the family. You pick and choose. You know how family are. You pick and choose. You know, if you've done medicine for 6 years and you want to go into a business, a supermarket, your parents might say, "But you invested in medicine. Why are you going to do supermarket chain?" So you have to just be wise about it. Reflections. Philosophers have confirmed that the human brain is more wired to recording negative occurrences than positive developments. It's only a natural thing. So sometimes I have to correct myself. We have a psychiatrist here. When I get a notification from APIS on my email, my mind travels far, you know, because of the past experience. So I need to now caution myself to think about the good side and not just be always ruminating on the thing that went wrong, because we've all had things go wrong in our lives. But if we dwell there and think about it, we won't make any progress. So you count your blessings. You know, Pastor Hajim, pastor, he's a prophet, he's a pastor. When he says count your blessings, it means the good things. Try and flood your mind with it so that you don't get depressed. Note shortcomings and failures. You know them, but you don't dwell on them. Don't have regrets at all. And while reflecting, avoid the phenomenon of self-blame for any negative development. Because some perfectionists, you know those people who will get some of us will get 55. Plus minus 50. We're having party. We hear what 90% is about the We have to follow the maxim of Dr. Timaya. This life, I cannot live myself. So don't be too critical of yourself. You should improve, but don't try to be so self-critical to the point where you don't enjoy your life anymore. So the way forward, Pastor Ohaju, I'm grateful to God for the journey. As alumni members, our association can greatly enhance attaining self-actualization. We can offer support in diverse ways to our members. We should also look out for those who are missing, which we practice in our group. So you people, when you leave school and struggle, don't forget each other, because you may be able to provide support. And as Dr. Ndili has said, you get support from people if they know you. Support is always needed. So never relax or give up. So always try your best and always go back to the drawing board and re-strategize. So with your self-actualization, you want to do something, you get to the point, you do it, it doesn't work, you go back, you start again. Of course, if it is a public thing and people notice you fail, they'll laugh, they'll make fun of you, which is alright, but it doesn't matter. They will rejoice with you and achieve your goals. Am I going? So in conclusion, self-actualization is a lifelong process which requires continuous effort, self-reflection, a willingness to take calculated risks, and embrace opportunities and challenges. Thank you all for listening. So that was Professor Ohaju's talk. So the next, I'll just get the next slide up. How many of you here, the students, don't give presentations? Where you are? Yeah. One, two. No, raise pediatrics. Who wants to specialize in pediatrics? 2 people. 3. These people. 4. 5. 1 guy. So 5 pediatricians. Who wants to do orthopedics? Who wants self-advertisement?
That's a good question, but you guys, if you don't know, retired state ophthalmologists with the contact and things. So it's an opportunity to know people. Don't be shy, walk up to somebody, hey, auntie, uncle, doctor.
Who wants to do internal medicine?
Who wants to japa?
Who wants to japa? Nigeria is a great country. It looks like everyone. But now is the point. When you arrive, you have talked about self-actualization. That place you are going to, when you arrive, what are you going to do there? Because when you rush it, as Dr. Bear said, you rush into private practice and you will rush out if there was no plan. So don't say, I want to japa because, oh, I came and this doctor spoke, and this one lives in England, so I want to live in England. But you need to send me a personal message, ask me what exactly I'm doing in England. So the next, I asked about pediatricians as the way to start the talk. I thought I'll get like 50%. Anyway, so the next speaker is Dr. Anne Webube. She's a neonatologist and pediatrician in Grimsby, Ontario, Canada. And she also has a special interest in neonatal resuscitation. So she's brought some
kids. She'll do a presentation, and I'm sure you'll find this interesting because resuscitation is important, and many people are scared of resuscitating children, and some are even more scared of resuscitating neonates. So let's put our hands together as we do you want me to be changing this? Or someone to hold the microphone for you?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here to just go through some form of resuscitation. I'm really honored to talk to my colleagues, many I haven't seen for over 30 years, 35 years. It's amazing. And thank you. And for the medical students, we were like you many years ago. So there's a lot of hope, and just keep going. Okay. So I'm Dr. Anne Webube. I live in Ontario, Canada, and I just my interest is neonatal resuscitation. I'm just going to do adult resuscitation because the neonate is a little bit too, a bit more detailed. But I just want to go through some statistics for you to see. Oh, the lower one.
Yeah, good.
Okay. So so in Canada, every child born in any hospital has the same standard of care. Everyone who deals with any newborn must follow a pattern so that the care is standardized. Whether they're born in the smallest hospital, whether they're born in the largest hospital, everybody does the same thing. It's standardized. And it's done into a program called Neonatal Resuscitation Program. There are many variants in it. I know in Europe there's the NLT or NL, all neonatal. But the aim is to try to standardize the newborn care so that it doesn't depend on where what family you come from or where you live to have a newborn resuscitated. So the program teaches the cognitive, technical, and teamwork skills to be able to resuscitate and stabilize the newborn. So this is Canada, and I live in Ontario. This is not working. I live in Ontario here. So it's quite a big country. The population is quite sparse, so I know they're encouraging immigration. This is my practice. This is one of the hospitals I work in, Joe Brandt. It's a level 2 care. This is the intensive care unit where I worked. And this is, we always have a bay area for any child needing to be resuscitated. So there's always one area open, and this happens in every hospital. You make way for a child being born anytime. This is a teaching hospital. These are my colleagues. They are nurses. They are transport care nurses. They go all through the province. So any baby born premature or needing intensive care, once they are stabilized in the referring hospital, they go out to pick them. So that's the whole network. But the key is that the care is standardized so that every child, every baby, no matter where they come from, will receive standard care. So I just want you to look at this rate. So we start with the neonatal mortality rate, which is the NMR. It's the number of deaths in the first 28 days per 1,000 live births. So 1,000 babies are born, 1,000 babies, and in at the end of the month, in Canada, 3.4 per 1,000 die.
Please, can we have silence? If you have a conversation to make, could you leave the room? Because it's very distracting. So can we stop talking? Thank you.
Thank you. It was this statistics that I saw that changed my whole focus now. So in Canada, one of my jobs is to go around the different hospitals to make sure everybody is up to date with their neonatal resuscitation program, their current, till I saw these statistics. In Canada, 3.4, and we're trying to improve. In Nigeria, 36 out of 1,000 babies born live, 36 die. And 2023 it went down a little bit to 34. 36. South Africa is 10. US is 3.5. Ghana is 22.8, 2023. So they're doing a bit better than Nigeria, which is really sad. So out of 1,000 live births, 36 babies die. We'll look at the infant mortality rate. Those are the number of deaths from birth to age 1 year per 1,000 live births. In Canada, it's 4.5. In Nigeria, it's 61. It's improved to 54, which is really sad. Ghana, for the infant mortality, is 30. From the last year, 2023, is 30. So they're doing better than Nigeria. The child mortality rate is staggering. That's number of deaths from birth to age 5. So for every 1,000 children born by age 5, at least 100 will have died in Nigeria. In Canada, it's 5. In Ghana, is 60, anywhere from 60 to 70. In Nigeria, it's 100 to 117, based on where you look at. So this is just we need to move forward. We need work to do. And I was really happy that a lot of my esteemed colleagues were coming today, especially those in primary care. It's just trying to appeal that it's just to move to take more steps to improve the neonatal mortality, to improve the neonatal mortality rate, and for sure the child mortality rate. So there are other, so this is what I've embarked on to try to move forward. I've done different courses, but there's so much barrier, there's a lot of hardship. Nobody really cares, really. I've been to different governments, different policies. The last time in Dubai, we talked about it, somebody helped. So we're about to do a whole session in Dubai, but then COVID hit. So we're going to start again. Okay, so that is it in summary. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, just because it has to improve. Okay, so the resuscitation program is just standardized. It's how to, when a baby is born, how to progress the baby. It's just the baby is brought to the warmer, stimulated if the baby is not breathing well, stimulated, PPV done, and majority are fine. And they're just set by, and everybody does the same thing wherever you are, and that helps improve the rate. Okay. So that is neonatal mortality. This is just to give you food for thought, okay? And hopefully things will improve. What I want to now do is just the normal basic life support, okay, which I want to talk to you. I've seen and I've heard of people just dropping, and we hear lots of people just dropping dead. And one of the main reasons I want to is for all of us to be able to recognize what a cardiac arrest is, and what to do when you see somebody who has a cardiac arrest. Thank you. Has anybody witnessed a cardiac arrest? No? Nobody has witnessed it? You have? Oh. Okay, yes, medical student, yes? Yes, so can you come to assist me? Okay, okay. So the first thing, the first thing you want to do is to make sure you're safe. Because you're of no use if you're not safe. So you want to make sure, if you see somebody drop, you want to make sure that you are safe and the person is safe. Yeah, I think yes. So you move the person to a safe area. But if the area is not safe and you're in danger, like it's in front of traffic, there's nothing you can do, because there's no sense you're going to put yourself in danger. So safety is the first thing. Next thing you want to do is to see whether the person is responsive. So what you want to do is you just try and touch them. Hello, hello, hello. Are you okay? Are you okay? And if there's no response, then you call for help, because you know that you can't do it by yourself. So when you do that and you ascertain that there's no response, you call somebody. If you have your mobile phone, you call 911. I think in Benin now there's an emergency system. I hope there is. You call 9, or you call somebody to call you just call for help. You need assistance. So that's the first thing. Then you then go to see whether the person is breathing or the pulse, okay? And how do you do for the breathing? I'm putting you on the spot. Okay, how will you assess for breathing? Okay, yes. Okay, and then you also look chest rise, yes. So in that state, the quickest way is to look for the chest, whether there's chest rise or not. If there's no chest rise, then you want to feel the pulse, okay? How do you feel the pulse? Yes, okay, the easiest way is your trachea and just the groove just to the side of the trachea. So you can palpate it, just the groove at the side of your trachea. That's where you feel your pulse. So that's what you want to do. And if you feel that and it's absent, then you want to start CPR, okay? So what do you do, okay? Have you done chest compression before? No. Okay, all right. So the chest compression is, now with COVID and everything, it's better to do something than to do nothing. I know people are worried about mouth to mouth, which is important, you should be worried, but do at least chest compression, if anything, all right? So you want to, the nipple line is where you go, the nipple line, and just at the nipple line in the center of the chest, that is what you do. So you put your fist, and you put your other hand, and then you start. And what you're trying to do is go about 5 centimeters lower, or about a third the AP diameter. And you want to do 100 to 120 per minute. In my head, the song we're taught is Staying Alive, Staying Alive. The Bee Gees, John. Yeah, that's what, so you want to do it, and that's what you do. And you do 30, and then you breathe, okay? You breathe for the person, okay? And you raise, it's a chin lift, head tilt, okay? And then you breathe, okay? And this is how you do. So you do, one person does 30. Do you want to do the 30? Okay. All right, we do 30 and we do 2 breaths. Then you carry on 30 and 2 breaths, okay? And the most important is that you're waiting for, I don't know whether you guys, there's AED here, but this is.
We don't have.
No? Has anyone used this before?
Once for a training here.
Okay. Okay, so AED is the automated external defibrillator. So this is very important because most of the cardiac arrests are due to arrhythmias. So there are many causes of cardiac arrest. One can be a heart attack, one can be general arrhythmias, but the majority in adults is part of the arrhythmia from sometimes heart attack, but the end goal is arrhythmia. So this is really important. So I urge my colleagues, my chiefs, primary care, if you can get 1 or 2 to have around, it's really important. Because it can be anybody, you know, it can be anyone, but this is so important. So you're doing cardiac compression till when somebody brings the AED. Like in Canada, these AEDs are present everywhere, in the malls, in the schools, anywhere, arenas, it's standard of care, it has to be there. Okay, so that is what I'm hoping, just to put down in your mind that this is life-saving. Okay. And it's very easy to use. All you have to do when it's brought, you just put the power on.
Adult patient.
And it tells you what to do.
If the patient is a child, press the child button. Remove clothing from the patient's chest.
It just tells you what to do.
Remove packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin.
Okay, so.
Apply pads as shown in the pictures.
Okay, the pad. Okay.
Remove packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin.
So it tells you, and there are 2 pads. One goes on the right,
as shown in the pictures.
One goes on the right below the clavicle.
Remove packet and apply pads
and one
onto
goes
patient's bare skin.
At the side.
Apply pads as shown in the pictures. Remove packet and apply pads onto patient's bare skin. Apply pads as shown in the pictures. Remove press pads firmly on skin. Apply pads as shown. Press pads firmly on skin. Do not touch the patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Do not touch the patient. Analyzing heart rhythm. Shock advised.
So it tells you that you need a shock.
Do not touch the patient. Everyone clear.
So you say clear, I'm clear, everyone clear.
Shock button.
All right, and then you press shock. And that's
Shock
what happens.
Delivered.
And then once you start,
Begin CPR.
then it tells you to begin CPR. So do you want to take your landmark? Okay, nipple line.
10.
And many times this is enough for the person to come back. Just the shock is enough for the person to come back.
30. Give 2
Yes. So
breaths.
yeah. So it tells you what to do. You do 30, and then I do two breaths. Okay.
10.
Okay. Well done.
20. 30. Give 2
Okay,
breaths.
then I give 2 breaths and we'll carry on. And that's what happens. And you keep on cycling. After 2 minutes, you see and reanalyze and see whether there's return of spontaneous circulation. And that's fairly straightforward. In children, the difference with children is the pads are smaller, and you put the pads one in front and one behind. Okay, that's in children. Because these pads should not touch. They should be separated, they should not touch. So in children, and the diagram is here. So it's here and it's here, and it's the same process. But the C is it's CAB. It's no more ABC. We all know that. It's compression, then the airway. All right. Yes. Okay. And then the breathing, and then the AED. Okay. Once the AED arrives, you want to use it. Okay. That's fine. Thank you. So I just wanted to clarify the difference between the cardiac arrest. So cardiac arrest and the heart attack. Heart attack is usually blockage to the main vessels in the heart. It's narrowing or blockage. And that can lead to dead heart muscle to cause arrhythmias, and many times they flip into cardiac arrest from that. But also, when you recognize somebody, they have chest pain, they look pale, they have pain radiating to their left arm, epigastric pain, they are nauseous, they are dizzy. That is the time, if you have aspirin, please give them a tablet of the baby aspirin and get them to hospital as soon as possible. For those who have private practices, please note to triage. If somebody comes to the clinic and they say they have chest pain or they have arm pain and they're looking pale, you don't let them sit and wait. You want them, because many times, and unfortunately happened to a colleague's brother of ours, many times they just fall, they have arrhythmias, then go into cardiac arrest. So it's important to triage chest pain, left arm pain, any of that in your clinics. In the ER room, it's important you triage, okay? So that's the difference between a heart attack and a cardiac arrest. A heart attack frequently leads to cardiac arrest, okay? And sometimes people with other forms of arrhythmia, they are running sports, they have an arrhythmia and they drop dead. You need this as soon as possible. So those are the different causes of cardiac arrest, okay? The other one I want to touch on is stroke. Who knows somebody who has had a stroke? All right, okay. One of the things you need to want to try and recognize as soon as possible, because the earlier you do that, the better. In Canada, within 4.5 hours, you get treatment. You get the injection to dissolve the clot, or they go in and remove the clot, okay, as much as possible. So it's important to recognize it as early as possible. And different ways to recognize it. Can you tell me a way to recognize stroke? Sorry? Yes, slurred speech? Yes. Disorientation is a symptom, yes. But for you watching, how will you know somebody has a stroke? Yes, facial, yes, drooping, yes. Anything else? Slurred speech? There's one more. Yes, the limb. Okay, so what you want to do, you see the face, one is deviated. You tell them to raise their arm. Many times they won't be able to raise one arm. And then the speech, talk to them and get them to talk back to you. So the mnemonic is fast. Okay, and the T is to time is of essence. So you want to try and hurry to get them into the hospital. Okay, so face, the arms, and the speech. Those are criteria. You know you're dealing with stroke and you want to get them early as soon as possible. Okay. A few caveats to children. Babies for the cardiac, for the resuscitation. Babies are a little bit different. For children, for adults, it's 30 to 2. In babies, it's still 30 to 2. But when you're 2, you do 15 to 2. You give them a little bit more breath. So you give them more ventilation because ventilation is usually an issue. And this is the difference as well, front and back. The other way as well is when you're feeling for the pulse, because they have a big head, it's hard to feel. So you feel in the brachial, which is halfway between the shoulder and elbow in here. That's where you feel the pulse. Okay, so those are the subtle differences. But you treat them about the same. Neonatal resuscitation is a bit different, but the babies, that's 1 month above, is all very similar. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, okay. Yes. Chest compression for kids. Same landmark, nipple line, but you use 2 fingers or you encircle like this, okay? And it's deep like this. And you want 1/3 the AP diameter, okay? But breathing is also very important for them. And that's what you do. Okay? All right.
Okay, let's have a round of applause for that educational section.
Thank you.
We're bang on time. We won't take questions. We could do research. Thank you very much, Dr. Anne Webber. She's come all the way from Canada to give this talk, and I'm sure you'll all go back and read and revise what been mentioned here. Now, it's been a very successful day. We are moving.
For my colleagues in the hotel and wherever, I always carry this because so it's always going to be available if you want to practice. Sure. Okay, so anywhere we are, we'll have this one. So I carry it everywhere.
Thank you.
So, we've hit the target for our time. So what we're going to do now is go into the bus to the site of the commissioning of the project that NDPS PDS 87 has done. Because Nick came later, I think we'll have to do a photograph quickly. So why I'm announcing it is so that everybody knows. So no phones and no snacks, no chatting. Just we go there. The ladies first, then the men go behind them and join, and then we will go forward, and the medical students will come behind us. So let the medical students stay seated now, and let the ladies just go, and the men. We'll come back and pack things. One last thing, the Benson president wants to give a short thank you. 1 minute.
Good afternoon, my senior colleagues and professors over here. I want to say, speaking on behalf of the University of the Medical Students Association and as well the final year medical class here, medical and dental class, sir, we are very, very much appreciative of this initiative that the Medical Set of 1987 has done. It has brought us so much joy, and we are glad. We have physically been able to see the dividends of your actions, starting from the hostels where we reside now, and even taking our time from your own schedule to organize this symposium for us to learn. I will tell you also that this is coming at a very much auspicious time as this. the final year class, we are currently planning for our health and final year week. And I think this lecture is a preamble to what we hope for, or what we look forward to seeing in our health week. By extension, sir, we are craving your indulgence in the class. If you will still be in the country, by next week, we are inviting the class to please attend our final year week. Or we will even need resource persons to also speak. I will mention that the healthcare financing, for example, that was mentioned here, that was taught today, something we look forward to. I'm very sure from your talks, there could be motivations as we change our thought processes and competitive practices as well. And we really appreciate if we could get your input at our final year week. UBEMSA as a body also as well, we are appreciating. There are some other things we want to reach across and make known to the class. If we could also get such support and help, like we have been demanding. We have tried in time past to reach out to other alumni or class executives, but it hasn't been very easy. And we want to also see how we can maximize the opportunity for the class. We are grateful, sir. We say thank you so very much, sir. We appreciate it.
Great Universe! Great! Great Universe! Great! Illustrious Universe! Great! Mighty Universe! Great! Powerful Universe! Great! Beautiful Universe! Great! No, no, comment. This program was 9 o'clock. Powerful Universe! Great! Beautiful Universe! Great! Beautiful. Now, women answer. Beautiful Universe! So thank you very much for attending. Paparazzi, ready for us to go to the gates and take the photographs. So let's go. I'll come back and clap today. Let's go do anything else. But please, one camera.
Yes,